So when choosing your partner for life, we've talked about how that decision cannot be made, should not be made based on your emotions, but rather on your intelligence. And in the last video, we also talked about how you should not base that decision on external circumstances, but rather on what's inside the person. Today we want to talk about something that people talk about a lot, but understand very little, which is compatibility. You hear people say a lot, oh, he's not compatible with her, or she's not compatible, or it's a term even used when people file for divorce. They were incompatible or irreconcilable differences. So what is compatibility anyway? We decided here we're going to talk about 7 different areas of compatibility. 7. We can break compatibility down into 7 different areas. And the first one we want to talk about today is exactly this one here, in maturity. I'm here with Chris, and Chris, maturity is important in a relationship because it becomes a problem usually when it comes to men being immature in relation to the woman. Because a woman needs to feel secure with the man that she is with. And when he's immature, it's very hard to pass on that confidence, that security to the woman.
And it's very important to say that it's not about the way he looks, because a lot of people, they think, okay, he doesn't look younger than me, so that's not a problem. But the problem is exactly when they have to deal with problems, when they have to deal with decisions. And he is immature, so he's going to make a decision that for her, it's immature. Mm-hmm. She already knows how to decide. She already knows that that is not a good decision to make. But because he's not as experienced, he's not, as mature as she is, he's going to stick on that immature decision. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be hard for her to respect him,
and
which
submit.
Which is exactly what he needs. He needs respect. She needs security. He needs respect. He's not going to be able to give her security, and she's not going to be able to give him respect. Not because she doesn't want to, but it's just because it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes in order to even protect the marriage from a bad decision that the husband is about to make, she feels that she has to go ahead and just decide it for him, or not agree with the decision that he's about to make. So that incompatibility in the level of maturity becomes a problem at that point. So that's why usually we talk about men being a little bit older than women when they are coming together in a relationship, because that helps, keep the balance there in the maturity. Usually because women are more mature, or women of the same age as men, all things being equal, they usually mature more quickly than men.
I mean, you can even see little children, little girls, they think of being mothers already. While little boys, no, they're thinking, fantasies, they're having fantasies. So, and when they're 15, the same thing. The girl is already thinking, who's going to be my boyfriend, who's going to marry me, how is it going to be, am I going to be a mother, and he's thinking about video games, he's thinking about, sites, internet, and games, and sports. He's not thinking of any commitment whatsoever.
So it's a well-known fact that women age sooner, more quickly than men. So in other words, when you take a 20-year-old man and a 20-year-old woman, she's going to be more mature than him. A 20-year-old woman will usually have her head a little bit farther, like 23, 24, 25. A 20-year-old man, he's still back, with a high school mentality in his mind.
Still wants to hang out with his friends, and it doesn't want any commitment. Not all of them, but most.
Generally.
Yeah.
So we talk about the age being a factor because usually age affects maturity. But of course there are the exceptions. The thing is that you have to really see if this person that you're marrying is matching your level of maturity, especially you woman. You will need to feel secure by the side of your man. Is he as mature as you or even more than you? Is he going to be making decisions that you will feel comfortable with? Or do you find yourself that you're always the one who makes the decisions or who prompts him to do things because he doesn't see things ahead of time like you? That's a very important point. Before I married Chris, I was engaged to someone who was much older than me. She was 7.5 years older than me, almost 8 years. And I was advised, short before I married this person, that I was about to make a mistake. I could potentially be ruining my life and hers because of these reasons that we just discussed here. So at that point, she'd done nothing wrong, I'd done nothing wrong, the relationship was doing fine. And then I decided that I wasn't going to risk my life or hers and go ahead with that decision. So we broke up and decided to separate. That was a decision I had to make based on my intelligence, not on my heart, like we said in the first video. Because my heart was telling me, no, go ahead. You love her, she loves you, you're going to work it out. But the thing is that in day-to-day life, like we said, after the honeymoon, when the problems hit you, when the problems come, you have to deal with reality. And it would be, today that I'm more mature, I understand that it would have been much harder for me to deal with a woman that was that much older than me. And for her, I'm sure it would have been much harder for her to deal with me being younger than her and she being more mature. So it was a decision I had to make based on my intelligence and not on my emotions. And we are telling this to people because the purpose of this series is to advise people who want to know what is that they have to think about before choosing the right person. It's usually tempting to think, oh, but I know somebody, I know a couple who they had a difference in age and they seem to be doing fine, but that's not necessarily a good way to go about your own decision.
Yeah, first of all, we never know behind doors what struggles they go through. Sometimes the struggles is inside. The person's thinking, having many struggles in their marriage inside, in their thoughts. Mm-hmm. So you never know. You can't really judge by appearances. And second of all, even if there are exceptions, we cannot base our future on exceptions. We have to see what works best.
What's more likely to happen, right? The probability is much higher that a couple who have a high degree of incompatibility in their level of maturity will have problems than that they won't. So you decide what you want to base your decision on. If you want to decide to base your decision on the exceptions or on the likelihood, the high probability that this will become a problem in your marriage. So we want to talk about the other areas of compatibility. There are 7 that we have divided, but in the next videos we'll talk more about them. So thank you for watching. Until next week, God bless you.